Hi and welcome to another video from Mida Travel. I'm in miniature today because this video is all about showing you the excursions that Marella have available for the Adriatic Explorer cruise. Now obviously these excursions are more relevant to people that are sailing with Marella. You will see the prices and the details of the trips. But they might also be of interest to people sailing with other cruise line but are calling at these ports. It will give you ideas of what excursions might be available on your cruise, but it'll also give you ideas of things that you may be able to do without needing to do it by booking an excursion. Now this cruise is absolutely, I think, wonderful. It's 7 nights and it starts in Corfu town. Now, I've never been to Corfu, but since the Durrells, it was the one Greek island that I always thought I would like to visit. Now, I have been to Rhodes, but I'm finally going to get and try Corfu. And the great thing with this cruise is that it doesn't depart Corfu until 11 p.m. that night. And we're due to arrive there about 12:30 p.m. So I'm hoping that we will be able to go and have a quick look around Corfu town, which is brilliant. Now the cruise is also calling 3 places in Croatia: Dubrovnik, Split and Zadar. I've been to Dubrovnik before, but I've never been to Split and Zadar, and there was a reason that I really wanted to go to Zadar, one excursion that I thought I would 100% be booking. But I've changed my mind. So stay watching to find out why I won't be doing the trip that I always thought I would want to do. And then we've also got Trieste in Italy, Kotor in Montenegro. Brilliant. I'm so excited about going there. I've heard it's called Norway of the Med, so Norway with the sun basically. So I'm excited to see if that lives up to that description I've been given. And then of course we're back to Corfu town where we started. Now, this cruise is still available on the TUI website, and it has, or is showing a good saving of £466. Now, last minute cruises, we have definitely found the way to go if you have got the freedom to suddenly go last minute. I still think there's room on this price to get it down if you ring them up. And obviously that will become the case nearer and nearer we get to the departure date of the 5th of July, that you might even get more shaved off this price. Now, we actually paid in February £1,450 each. So we had quite a good price. I had to work at it, but I felt we had quite a good price. And I do feel that this is a really good deal. Now, the problem is if you book last minute, there's always the danger you won't find what you're looking for because it'll be sold out. Obviously, this is different. We have booked going from Manchester and we have an inside cabin for that price of £1,450. But this one, for £1,321 currently per person, you are getting an outside cabin. But you have to fly from Exeter, which might not be convenient for everybody. I'm not sure, unless you ring them, whether there is the opportunity to change that flight departure. I think because it's a last minute and it's a set price, that it's probably going to be unlikely. But hopefully one day I'll get to put that to the test. So without further ado, let's get on with the first destination. So let's have a look at beautiful Corfu town. Right, here we are inside my cruise control, my cruise planner. And as you can see, I was a little bit surprised when I was able to access the cruise planner. I think one of the things that I like to do is we booked this in February. And when we booked in February, I couldn't find out what excursions there were because the cruise planner doesn't become available until nearer your cruise, sometimes 2-3 months before your cruise. So I like to know what there is to do and plan ahead. And that's why I like to do these excursion videos, so that if anyone else is like me, they will hopefully find the information they're looking for. So this is the cruise planner, and I'm a little bit surprised, I'm not going to talk too much about it, that Marella now put spa and salon treatments on here. And I would definitely urge a quick caution, because they're quite pricey and you're not going to get any discount on here. And if you're on the ship, you will often find discounts in the cruise news, or if you even go into the salon, if they're quiet, you will get a cheaper price for what you're looking for. It's always worth going and asking the question. So personally, I wouldn't book spa and salon treatments on here. So let's make a start. Corfu, we have no excursions because it's our start-off place. But as I say, we don't leave till 11 p.m. at night, so it'll give us a great chance to go and look round Corfu Old Town, which looks beautiful with its narrow streets, etc. So let's have a look at Dubrovnik. So yes, the amazing Dubrovnik. Now, we don't arrive till 12 midday on our first sort of day at a port. 12 midday seems late, but I'm actually rather pleased about this because we don't leave until 9 p.m. Now, I've looked, and there is, if you go to Cruise Mapper, you can actually see which ships are in port on the day that you visit. Now, last time we were in Dubrovnik, the whole experience for me was spoilt because it was so crowded. You could not move with people. There were so many tour parties, people holding brollies up and flags and all sorts. And I really, really, really didn't feel that I got the best of Dubrovnik. Now, I'm excited with this stop, one, because you can see that we are there on the 6th of July, and there is only one other ship that I've never heard of in port. And I think from the sound of it, that's probably a smaller cruise line. But we are there 12 till 9, and there's no one else there. So that is a really positive thing compared to days on the 4th where you see you've got 4 ships there, which means that Dubrovnik is going to be very busy again. But for us, it's looking good. And also the fact that we don't get there 12 means that by the time we go up to Dubrovnik to have a look around, hopefully it will be getting later in the afternoon and a lot of the tourists would have gone. So I think perfect timing, hopefully. So watch when we start putting our videos out and see whether it works as good as I think it did. But I think Dubrovnik might be a whole much better experience this occasion for me, because it is a very beautiful place. So let's have a look at the excursions that are available there. If I click book excursions, we have 12 available from Dubrovnik. So I'm going to click on these and let you pause so that you can read them. It's going to be a really long video if I read everything out. So I'm going to click on it, give you a few seconds to pause it so that you can read. So first of all, we have the Dubrovnik cablecar and walking tour. And it's a 4-hour trip. And if you look at the key facts on the blue here, you will see sort of it's moderate. So if you're reasonably okay health-wise, you should be all right. So I'll let you read that. It's £54 for an adult, £34 for a child. Children 2 till 12 is the age there. Over 12s, you will pay adult price, unfortunately. let's move back from that. Hopefully you paused it if you want to read it. And we'll go on to the second one, which is the best of Dubrovnik. £47 an adult, £23 per child. Again, moderate activity, 5-hour duration, so a little bit longer. And I will let you pause it there if you'd like to read all about it. Okay, let's go to number 3, which is Dubrovnik by open top bus. Hopefully it'll be nice and cool then with the fresh air. And that's £39 for an adult, £30 per child. And it's a 1.5 hour trip, so quite a good one. It'd be quite nice to combine that with your own sort of journey around Dubrovnik Old Town. And the next, Tuk Tuk City Tour. If you don't fancy a bus and you want less crowded, then how about a tuk-tuk? £60 per adult, £35 per child. It's 2-hour duration. Not sure I'd like that really, but some people might enjoy a ride in a tuk-tuk. Next we have Dubrovnik Sunset and Old Town at night. Well, because of the time we're there, then hopefully we'll have a lovely sunset that evening, and hopefully I'll be able to capture it for you all. It's £40 per adult, £33 per child, and I presume they're going up the mountain a bit. Moderate activity, and duration is 3 hours. I do love a good sunset. We'll find a good vantage point. You wine lovers, then for £63 for an adult and £42 for a child, you've got the scenic wine train in Konavu Valley. Apologise if I've said that wrong. It's moderate again, 4.5 hours duration, and it's £63 an adult, £42 for children. Scroll back down. King's Landing. Oh, you Game of Thrones fans. Now, one of, well, in fact, everybody in my party, had 2 friends, and Dave, and even me to a degree, love Game of Thrones. So this one might appeal to us, but I think we will probably not do a tour in Dubrovnik. Everywhere's fairly close to the ship. We will walk up there, hopefully get a better look at the town this time, and maybe if we want to go to a few of the Game of Thrones locations, we will do that as well. It's £40 per adult, £20 per child, limited, so it sounds like there might be a few steps or steepness there. For need to perhaps look into it more if you've got health conditions. It does say it's very active, and the duration of that is 4 hours. We then move on to Old Town by Land and Sea. This is £66 for an adult, £33 for children, and it's a 4-hour duration. And it looks to me like you will get a ride around the harbour and also land as well. So a nice way of combining land and sea. I have to say that I've not looked at these at all. I've always imagined with a sort of a Med, or in this case Adriatic cruise, that the ports are so accessible. So I've not had in my mind at all, apart from that one tip I've already mentioned, about booking any trips. I think every one of the locations, we can just get off the trip and go and discover the town. The old towns in these places are going to be beautiful. City walls kayaking. If I click on that, those of you that can kayak, then it's £57 per adult, £40 per child. Again, I would think you've got to be energetic. So yes, you've definitely got to be fit for this one. And it's a 3.5 hour duration. Getting through them. So next we have 3 left. Panoramic, and I've got to say the name of this place again, Carnival Valley. And this apparently gives you a taste of tradition and culture. Relaxed pace, not too much walking, so it sounds to me that this is quite good for anybody. It's 3 hours duration, £43 per adult, £22 for children, and refreshment included. And we're down to the final 2. Copacabana beach transfer. Well, I have to say that I hadn't considered a beach at all at any of the ports that we go into. And looking at that beach, it doesn't look very appealing. So I won't be doing Copacabana beach. But obviously, those of you that love the beach won't mind, and will just be glad to be there, enjoy the sun, and to enjoy the sea. And that's £31 per adult, £21 per child. Easy, so suitable for anyone, and 4 hours duration. Well, there is, just so you know, which is useful for you to look at, and this is that 1 umbrella is provided per 2 sunbeds, but that to me seems quite reasonable. And also it's worth taking euros with you for drinks and snacks you may wish to purchase. And now we'll finish Dubrovnik with our final one, adults only sunset catamaran cruise. Again, nice way to be able to see the sunset. We did a catamaran cruise many years ago, and I planned to propose to my husband. It was in Florida, and we went on a catamaran cruise in Key West to see the sunset, and I was going to propose, but we never saw a sunset. The sun didn't want to set that night, so we didn't actually see it, and I didn't actually propose in the end that night. He had to wait a little bit longer. But anyway, that's £76 per adult, refreshments included, and it's a 2 hour duration. And I hope you're luckier than us and you get to see, if you do this, a fantastic sunset. And that brings us to the end of Dubrovnik. I will be filming on our cruise, and obviously I will be doing full videos of each of the places we visit to give you an idea of what's accessible from the ship, how easy it is, and whether it's worth doing your own thing or whether it's worth considering an excursion. But anyway, that's the end of Dubrovnik, and we will move on. And next, I believe, is... I can't remember where's next. Split. And if I'm wrong, I've cocked up. Yeah, I was right. It is Split. All I had to do was click back, and I'd have found out rather quicker than trying to think about it. But anyway, Split it is. So let's have a look at excursions on Split. I haven't seen these previously, apart from this top one, because Kirka Waterfalls is the trip that I really, really wanted to do. And I'll show it you first. It's £66 per adult, £32 for children, and the duration is 5.5 hours. Now, I have to say, Kirka Waterfalls looks absolutely amazing, and I do have a fondness for a beautiful waterfall, and I think this is well up there. But having read the trip, it's 5.5 hours long. Now you're in Split from 8 o'clock till 5 p.m. And I did think that 5.5 hours is quite a long time. And I believe somewhere on here, it's 1 hour 15 minutes to get there. So that's 2.5 hours taken up with travelling. I did also think that the likelihood is that it's going to be a lot of tourists there. And I've never seen Split. So it was having plenty of time to discover Split or go to one of the sites I've wanted to see. What would you do? Put it in the comments below. I actually think that we will probably try and go another time to Croatia. Croatia's a beautiful country, and I think it would probably be nice to go slightly out of season, and maybe then will be the time for me finally to get to Kirka Waterfalls. Have you been? What's it like? Let me know. So it's £66 for adult, £32 for children, and I'm sure if you did book this excursion, it will be, fantastic. There is a possibility, I think, to also go from Zadar, but we'll come to that shortly and see whether it's any less journey time. And if we come out of there, what's it say about activity? It says beach or water wear. I presume you can probably swim in there. Scenic, it's active, so might not be the best if you've got health conditions. So let's go down this list. Split walking tour. I guess those of you that like the history, then this is probably the trip for you. You'll find out all about Split. And it's £32 for adults, £15 for children. It's a 3-hour trip. I actually just like, Split is so accessible from the boat that we are just so excited. We like to just get off the boat and go and explore. Not really make too many plans. We're not ones for museum. We like the architecture. We like the sites. We like sort of exploring the culture. So that is more for us. So we will do our own walking tour for free. And if we go back to the next one, Salona and Trogir. Described as scenic, £54 adult, £26 child, scenic, moderate activity, and it's 4 hours long. If you've been to Split before, then definitely this is the opportunity to get out of Split and go and explore a couple of other towns, which I'm sure are very beautiful as well along the coast. Trogir is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So it's a fortified medieval town built on an island. That sounds fascinating. Connected by a bridge. So it sounds very interesting. May appeal to those that haven't been to Split before. Best of Split and its countryside. £67 adults, £38 children. So again, it looks to me like you get the best of both worlds here. You get to see Split and learn a little bit about Split, and then move on to the countryside, and I presume that will be extremely scenic. And that's a 4.5 hour trip. Moving on, oh, those of you a bit more energetic and a little bit more daring, there is rafting on the Cetina River. And there are only 6 places left here, but considering we're less than 2 weeks to the cruise, I don't think you've got to panic too much about getting on this. But you do find that the activity ones are the ones, such as the cycling activity, that do tend to sell out quicker. But this is £90 per adult, £64 child. Obviously it's energetic. I would imagine it would help if you could swim, even though you've got the protective gear. And it's 5 hours, so it takes you away for quite a long time. But I would imagine as well that would be really refreshing, being on the river. Come back out of there. I forgot to say what times we're in port from. So let's have a look on this next one. It's a 2-hour duration, and we're back to tuk-tuks and walking tour. Now we're actually in Split from 8 o'clock in the morning till 5 p.m. at night. And I think it's always important to know the times, because very often you're not going to get off the ship till about half hour after that, until the captain okays it, which probably be around 8:30, 9 o'clock. And then if you want to see a bit of the town and do an excursion, it's good to know the duration of these trips. Now this one is only 2 hours, so you definitely get the opportunity to go back out onto Split to explore a little bit. It's easy activity, so this would probably be suitable for most people. And we then move on to Game of Thrones, Croatia. So much of Game of Thrones was filmed in Croatia, and obviously in Split is no different. So it's a 3.5 hour duration, and it's £50 per adults, £25 children. But again, if you are a big Game of Thrones fan, then this will definitely appeal to you. Where did we get to? Sea kayaking. Again, nice way to, I would think it would be nice and cool and refreshing on the sea. And it's a 4.5 hour trip, £60 adult, £46 children, and needless to say that it's going to be quite energetic. So bear that in mind. It's always good to read this just so you know, because there are often some valuable information there that you need to take into account. And finally, for Split, we have Croatian flavours. £47 adult, £28 child. 3.5 hour duration, and it's nice and easy, so most people would be able to manage this. And it's a visit to Trogir, cross the bridge to the small island. Why has it got the taste? Museum, Pantana watermill, and sample some local, here's the food connection, sample some wine and local ham and cheese. So, sounds quite interesting. Especially if you're a bit of a wine fan. So, we get to the end of Split. 9 very varied activities there for you. So, do any appeal to you? We're going to look around Split. It looks very big, and I just think that we'll do our own thing like we're going to in all of the places. Okay, let's move on. And next, yay, we're in Zadar. Right, on to Zadar, and I'm really looking forward to exploring the old town here. All these old towns look absolutely amazing in these places. So let's see what excursions are on Zadar. We have 7, and we're in port from 8 in the morning till 5 p.m. So let's start with the island of Pag. It's £45 adults, £21 children. It looks very pretty, and it's a 4-hour trip. I will let you pause that if you need to have a read. Looks like you go to the Museum of Lace with a local woman who will show you how to lace, needling of lace, and the Museum of Salt, where you will learn all about salt production. And if we come out of that one, we'll go to the second one, and yes, it's more waterfalls. Now, I thought it was the same waterfalls as the other one, but this one is to Plitvice National Park. Now, again, these waterfalls look absolutely amazing. And the trip is £80 per adult and £50 per child. And it's 7-hour duration, and the drive there lasts 2 hours. So 4 hours of your 7 is going to be on transport. Now, again, I really would have liked to have done this trip, but we've never been to Zadar, and I just think if we do this, we won't get to see much of Zadar. And again, this is something that we can maybe do out of season when there's less tourists, is to come back and perhaps do Plitvice National Park and Kirka National Park and do them out of season, which will be better. Anyway, it's scenic, obviously. It does say you need to be active. The paths can be slippy inside the park, so read this here. Swimming is prohibited, so no swimming in these lakes. And Zadar and Nin. Looks quite an impressive building. 2 of the oldest towns in the Adriatic on foot. It's £39 per adult, £18 per child, and it's moderate activity and 4-hour trip. I will say that we learned that tips are not included in these prices, and I think it would be so much better if Marella would include a tip inside the cost, and obviously with the option of withdrawing that if you have a bad experience. But quite often, I don't think it will be so bad in Europe, but if you haven't got euros on you, or you haven't got the right nomination of euros, then it can become quite awkward, and I do think it personally it would be helpful to have it included in the tour. What do you think? I'll be interested to know. Right, so we've then got Zadar walking tour. That's a pretty location. I'd love to know where that is. I need to find that because that is very pretty. I need some video of that. Hopefully it's looks like it's probably just off the old town, so I will see that. 37 adult, 18 child, moderate activity, 3.5 hour duration, and I would imagine it's quite an informative trip for those that like a little bit more history and to learn a little bit more from a guide about the place they're visiting. We will move on to Queen's Beach. Those of you that are sun worshippers who like the beach, then you've got the opportunity here. Scenic, easy, so anybody could manage this. £20 per adult, 16 child. Be aware that umbrellas and sun lounges are not available on this beach, and it will be scorching hot, I would imagine. And that's a 4.5 hour duration. Down to Oh, here it is. I thought you could go from here as well. Kirka National Park, another visit. It's a 90-minute coach journey on this. So 3 hours out your 6 hours is travelling. And the drive, there's 2.5 hour walking tour that's included. So it is quite an active trip. And are we on the last one? Last one. And these tuk-tuks are very popular in Croatia, aren't they? A tuk-tuk tour of Zadar. So if you don't want to walk and you want to be driven around to discover Zadar, then this might be the one for you. £61 per adult. £61 child. Moderate activity and 2 hour duration. And that finishes our excursions in Zadar. So now we will move on to Trieste, a different country. We're off to Italy. And so to Italy. I love Italy, and we are having the day at Trieste. So let's have a look. I've never been to Trieste, so it looks a really nice place. Let's have a look at the excursions. We've got 9 and we're in port from 7 in the morning till 7 at night. So we have a good day here. Plenty of time, we won't have to rush anywhere. So let's start off with leisurely Trieste. Click on more details. It's £38 adult, £28 child. And that view there looks a little bit like parts of Venice. It's good, this trip, for people that want the comfort of a bus. So you're obviously going to get shown round by bus and stop with different photo stops. Easy activity, 2 hour duration. Did I say the price? £38 per adult, £28 per child. Moving on down. No, it's moving on up, isn't it? I just make up my own words. Right. Oh, there you go. For Venice. Venice on your own. Ooh. This is why they have a long stop. £68 adult, £48 children. Scenic, moderate activity. It's 9.5 hours. But for that 9.5 for that 9.5 hours, I still can't say it. For that 9.5 hours, you will be going to, the beautiful Venice. We got to Venice a couple of years ago it was just coming to the end of COVID, and we stayed in Valencia, which was a great base for visiting not only Venice but Florence as well. And so we were lucky that we went to Venice and it was quiet, and Venice was everything that I thought it would be. So if I hadn't done Venice before, I would seriously be thinking about this. Even though I haven't seen Trieste, Venice, absolutely amazing. But how long are that 9.5 hours do you actually get there? Let's have a look. It's 2 hours each way, so you're still getting 5.5 hours there. So you've got, well, it says here you've got about 3 hours of free time once in Venice. So 3 hours to see Venice. I think you would see most or quite a bit of the major sites. It's very easy to get around there, but Venice, amazing. I didn't realise it was an option from this cruise. And let's have a look. Oh, I didn't see this one. I told you I hadn't looked at all these because I thought, no, we'll just do our own thing. But I really want to go to Ljubljana. And we like doing city breaks, but my partner thinks there wouldn't be enough there to do. But, oh, I might have to show him this. How long is the journey? It's £44 adults, £27 children, scenic, moderate activity. It's an 8-hour trip, which means that it's this or missing Trieste. I don't know. I'm going to have a think about this one because, and I will let you know when we're actually on the cruise, when we're due to be in Trieste. Then keep an eye. Do we go to Ljubljana or do we stay in Trieste? Think about that one. Anyway, it looks amazing. Ljubljana looks beautiful. And we then go on to the charms of the Lipica horse farm. Beautiful horses. For those horsey people, then you may well really appreciate this trip because it does look, the horses look beautiful. That sounds like a really interesting read because I've already seen they've been bred over 400 years, surviving 3 wars and starring in 1960s Disney film Miracle of the White Stallions. Have you ever seen that? I've never even heard of it. I'm going to have to look that one up. That's 39 adult, £32 children, 3-hour duration, so you will still have plenty of time to look around Trieste. So that's quite a nice one, I think. We then move, is one for the drinkers. Now I'm going to struggle to say the second one. Prosecco and Prosciutto? Prosciutto? You know what I mean. £59 per adult, £48 children. Travel to the karst region and visit a local farmhouse where you will taste the local wines. You'll also visit Prosecco, where the legendary sparkling wine inherited its name due to the type of grape that was grown there. 3-hour duration, so definitely one for those of you that like a drink, or a bit of a drink. Elegant Trieste and charming Murcia. £37 adults, £28 child, 4-hour duration. And just to know, is quite important here, suitable clothing for entering place of worship. You may only be the external of the church if celebrations are taking place. And consider any mobility concerns as is quite active. So if you want to pause and read through that, I will let you. And if you don't want to travel out of Trieste, then this sounds pretty good. £46 adult, £28 children, moderate activity, 4 hours, and it's basically a day out sightseeing around Trieste, and hopefully you will learn quite a lot about the place. Move on to Trieste walking tour. Obviously, a lot of people do like walking tours. I like to do my own and maybe do a little bit of research, but as I say, most of the time we just like to get off the ship and just go where we fancy, just walk and see what we see. And that's just what we like to do. So £25 per adult, £25 per child, active, 3 hours. It's a warning there, consider any mobility concerns. And again, if you want to read, then please pause. Finally, we're on the Rilke Trail and the Duino Castle. £40 adults, £34 children, 3.5 hour duration. It's active, so be aware of that if you have health conditions. It does involve a lot of walking, so yes, if you've got mobility issues, it might not be the trip for you. And that brings us, I think, to the end. Yes, that's the end of Trieste. So next we will move on to our final port, which is Kotor, one of the ones I'm most excited about. So here we are, we've arrived at our last stop, which is day 7, and it's in Kotor, Montenegro, a country I've never visited. Kotor sounds absolutely beautiful, so I'm really excited about particularly the journey into Kotor, which is very mountainous, and I can't wait to be on top deck to watch us arrive there. So how many excursions we got? We've got 11, and we're in port 8 o'clock in the morning till 4 p.m. at night. So Kotor by land and sea. This is £54 adult, £28 child, moderate activity, 5-hour duration, so quite a long one. But it seems like you get a tour around not only Kotor, but you go to Peruse, which is a Baroque town with plenty of charm. So that sounds really nice. Number 2, local flavours of Kotor. £49 adult, £40 child. Moderate activity, 4-hour duration, and it looks like you get to visit an olive farm, and you also get to wander around one of the local villages called Tisi. Ooh, and you get to taste or test the family's extra virgin olive oils alongside a spread of homemade breads. I love my bread. Seasonal fruit and local brandy. That sounds very nice. Walking tour of Kotor, again, for those people that like the walk. I'm not sure if it's quite steep. It might be, moderate activity. £31 adult, £15 child. I'll tell you what I think we've got in mind when we come to the end of the excursions. That one's 2-hour duration. We move on to Kotor Bay Speedboat. £61 adult, £45 per child. Limited activity. Don't know what the limited means, but anyway, easy. So it should be available for most people. Duration 4 hours. I think it's probably, the speedboat ride can be bumpy, and obviously depending on the weather you may or may not get to the Blue Cave. So yeah, those of you again that fancy speeding along the sea, then it's a good one for you. Panoramic Montenegro. £41 adults, £19 child, 3.5 hour duration, easy activity, and it's a journey through Montenegro's inspiring countryside. I'll let you read that. Obviously, I'm very aware how long this video is becoming. So maybe we will speed these last few up. A bit late now. Oh, again, wines and vines. So for drink lovers, £67 per adult, £55 per child. Moderate activity, refreshments included. It's a 2-hour trip to the winery, so that might make you want to think about it. But certainly for wine lovers, well worth that travel time. We then have cable car views and Old Town. Now, this is the one, I said I was going to wait till the end, but I didn't think this would come up. So for £53 adult, £40 child, moderate activity, scenic, wow, look at it, it's amazing. It's a cable car to obviously the top of the mountain. It's a World Heritage Site. Now, we have looked at this, doing it ourselves. You can get a taxi from the port to the cable car, and then I think obviously it's going to probably be a lot cheaper, especially with there being 4 of us, than spending £200 for 4 of us on the excursion. I believe when you get to the top of the cable car, there's some sort of car ride. I'm not sure whether it's Ferrari or something, that you ride around in cars, this track, and it takes you over by the mountain edge, giving you those beautiful sceneries. So we did quite fancy that. In the event of bad weather, of course, the cable car won't be operating, and there are a number of steps to access the cable car, but I would imagine once you're at the top of that mountain and going up on the cable car, the view's absolutely amazing. And, oh, we've still got a few more. Highlights of Montenegro, £53 adults, £27 children. Moderate activity, 6.5 hours, so it's quite a long one. Just trying to have a quick read. Obviously, it's going to give you a tour around some rather beautiful places. You can pause and read that for yourself and learn all about it. We then move on to kayaking, Boca Bay. Again, I would think for those of you that like kayaking, it's a beautiful place to be able to do it. £46 adult, same price for children. Scenic, energetic, obviously. Duration is 3 hours. 2 more. The Lovchen Mountain and Views of the Fjord, 4x4. So this is £91 adult, quite an expensive one. £68 per child. Moderate activity, and it's a 5-hour duration. So obviously you get a road safari, seascapes, mountain scenery and traditional villages. You head out of Kotor and go and explore local villages in the countryside. Sounds really good. And finally we have transfer to Jazz Beach or Budva. Now, I have to say, this looks probably the nicest beach we've seen so far. I think it's only the 3rd beach option we've had. £27 adult, £17 a child. Easy activities. Sun lounges and parasols are payable locally. So you actually get 2 stops. You get Jazz Beach. And then you go to Budva, which is another beach. So quite nice for beach lovers amongst you. And that brings us to an end. Excursions on the Adriatic Explorer. I have to say they're very varied. Lots of choice. Personally, I'm going to say that we have not booked any excursions, although I'm going to think Ljubljana, simply because I think the opportunity is there. places we've not been before, that the towns look, particularly the old towns, look absolutely beautiful. So I know that we can just have a chilled time, go off. We haven't got to be off the boat early to get an excursion. We can get off the boat leisurely, go and look round in our own time, nip back to the boat for lunch, and then back out if we think there's more to see. Or we can go on the pool deck and get some of that much needed sun. So I think it's really good. I hope you've enjoyed this video on the excursions. They do tend to take me a bit of time to do, but I do think if you are interested in finding out what there is available, then you would want to watch this content. Now, we are on the Explorer on the 5th of July. We will put together an extensive review of everything on the Explorer. It will be our third Marella ship. We've already done the Discovery 2 and Voyager, and it will be nice to complete the set because the Explorer, although it's similar to the Voyager, is we've not been on. So please, if you can, subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps us out a great deal if you could do that. Also, if you've enjoyed the content, tick the like, and also hit the bell notification, and you will get notified when we start publishing details of our forthcoming Explorer cruise, where we will do a detailed diary of each day. We'll bring you all of the restaurants and everything that Marella Explorer has to offer. So thank you for watching. Thanks. It really means a lot to us for people that have come back and that subscribe. It's just wonderful for us as sort of we make these videos. So take care, everyone. Hopefully we will see you again soon. And if you've got any advice for people with things to do in these places, please drop them in the comments below. Bye.